Hey, hey,
Hello, hi.
how are you?
I'm doing very good. It's nice to finally see you in person via Zoom.
I know it's lovely to see you too. Where are you? Where are you in the world? You're in America, hey?
Yes, I'm in the very rainy South Florida.
Cool, cool. Yeah, no, it's quite rainy here at the moment as well. Where we are, it rains quite regularly. But no, thank you for making the time to come on the show. It's really really cool, and we'll get right into it if that's okay with you.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
Cool. So, um, if you don't mind just explaining who you are and what you love about anime in general.
Yes, so I'm Mariana. I have loved anime, I think, since I was about I got into it when I was about 6 years old when I learned about Pokemon. So I remember first watching I believe it was the Indigo season or the first season of Pokemon on Cartoon Network when I was like 6 years old. And I was so fascinated by it. I remember like making all these really cool drawings of the characters of Ash, Misty, Pikachu, Brock, and I think Team Rocket a little bit. And then I sort of like fell out of it, but then got back into just anime in general because I came across this movie called Castle in the Sky, the Hayao Miyazaki films, Studio Ghibli, when I was I think 9 years old. We were on vacation. My family and I were on vacation in Key Largo, and they were playing, I believe, Castle in the Sky on Cartoon Network as well. So that was pretty cool, getting to be introduced to an anime that was not Pokemon. So yeah, that was kind of like sort of my introduction to anime in general.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And Pokemon is something that's definitely incredible. And yeah, I love your shirt. It's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Where'd you get that from?
My best friend gave it to me for Christmas.
It is so cool. It is so cool, and it looks warm as well on the rainy days.
Yeah, it is.
Who's your favorite Pokemon?
Pikachu. Come
Pikachu?
on,
Yeah, you have to. It has to be.
Pikachu.
It has to
Come
be
on,
Pikachu.
he's my pop socket.
Oh, I love that. That is so cool. I need one of
Thanks.
those. um, and now, what arc is your favorite in the Pokemon series? I know you're a big Pokemon fan, and you've mentioned that. Do you have a favorite arc or a favorite moment in the series that really gives you goosebumps?
Well, I would say there's some moments in the films that make me cry a lot.
Mm.
I remember also another like sort of like my reintroduction also to the Pokemon anime was coming across I think Pokemon Forever, which was the film where they meet Celebi and Suicune. Do you remember
Mhm.
that film?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I came across that I think watching it, I think it was on Toon Disney, I believe at the time when they were showing Toon Disney and Jetix. That was the name of the channel where they were showing all of like I think the early 90s cartoons of Disney plus the cartoons at the time, which also included Digimon too. That's also how I got introduced to Digimon because they were also airing those. It was because I didn't grow up with like the Fox box or that kind of channel early on in the 90s, early 2000s. Like I sort of was part of the kids that were like watching it a little bit later, I believe, when they were airing them on the Toon Disney Jetix time slot. So
Mm.
that's how I also found out about that too. But I would say the Pokemon Forever I think kind of made me sad a little bit. Also I think coming across later on the first movie that
Yeah.
also made me sad too.
You're
So
right. There's so many moments that you can get tears from. Have you met any of the voice actors for Pokemon?
I've met
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I have. I've met Veronica Taylor. I've met Rachel Lillis and Eric Stewart. I met Tara Sandler. I actually wanted to show you something really cool. So
Yeah.
also, I draw. I used to draw when I was young, and I sort of started drawing like anime style.
Yeah.
And I drew the characters. Let me see if is it okay if I show it to you?
Of course, I'd love to see it, please.
Thank you. I've also had actors from Star Wars, as I'm also a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
And George Lucas, I believe, got inspiration for his films from like Joseph Campbell and also Akira Kurosawa. He got a lot. He was inspired by that film director. If
Okay.
if I don't know if you know about that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that actually. I mean, you can see it the similar styles, but I didn't know that. That's a really really good fact. Wow. Okay. And so, what were you going to show us? What drawing?
Yeah. So actually, I drew Ash and Pikachu.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love your
Thank you.
style. Show me again. I love the style. That's so cool.
Thank
That
you.
is
I'm hoping.
awesome. Have you put a post up on that?
Have I what?
Have you put a post up with that on it?
Uh, what do you mean, like a post up or
Oh,
a post it?
an Instagram post. Have you put it on Instagram?
Oh no, I haven't. I've uploaded them on my Facebook because I have some drawings on Facebook. Um, but oh, I have Misty here and Rachel signed it,
Oh, that is so cool.
and then I think I have Eric Stewart here. He signed it. Hold on. Where is it?
Oh, yeah, too
Can't see
light.
it. Oh,
Oh,
there
there
it
we go.
is.
There. That is fantastic. Wow. Wow,
And
you're very, very talented. How long have you been drawing for?
since I was a little girl, and then I have Richie here. You know Richie Ashley Richie.
Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I also met Tara Sands. He signed it too.
That is a cool book. And you just meet all that's incredible drawing. Well done. You're very, very talented. Have you met all these people at different conventions and stuff?
Yes, I think I met Veronica at what was it called? Magic City Comic Con. I met Rachel and Eric at Animate Miami 2017, and I met Tara at Florida SuperCon in 2016.
Awesome.
That was pretty cool. But I want to show you the one that's my most prized possession
Please do.
because yes, because hold on, it's here somewhere. I know we have him around, and I just saw him again not too long ago in Orlando, but I first met him when he came to Florida SuperCon in 2021, and it was like the best day of my life. Hold on, it's here somewhere. I'm trying to find. It's like, oh, here he is, Lord Vader himself.
Oh, wow. That is so, so cool. My goodness. What a cool moment. You need that framed.
But because here's another thing: the cast from the Clone Wars is coming next week to Florida SuperCon, and Matt Lancer, the voice of again from the Clone Wars, is going to be there. So I'm going to try to get this half.
Okay,
So
yeah, no, you
put
need
him out
to.
front.
Let me just show, keep it up there, keep that up there. I'll just show. Wow, that is so cool. May the force be with you. That's incredible, Mariana. That's amazing. Um,
Thank you.
I've got a friend that's currently on live, and he he's a Star Wars. His name's Biorvio. He's a Star Wars massive fan, and he actually his wedding was Star Wars themed,
Oh
and
wow,
he met
that's so cool.
yeah he met some really cool Star Wars. He went to a panel. Biorvia, who did you go to a panel for? I'm just asking him. He'll check it down there. But he went. Yeah, he's a massive Star Wars fan. Have you got any other Star Wars memorabilia? Oh, he says Hayden Christensen. He went to see.
Yes,
Oh, you know, yeah, 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 yeah. Do
I
you have any?
love him so much.
You do? You do? That's cool. Do you
Yeah,
have any Star Wars memorabilia?
I don't. Well, I have some action figures that I've been collecting recently. If you don't mind, I want to show some. I know we kind of pivoted. Sorry if we pivot to
No.
Star Wars
This is
on
a
from
conversation.
anime.
Star Wars is great. Star Wars is my favorite anime. If you keep it on there, that's cool. Let's look.
Jar Jar Binks.
Ah, Jar Jar Binks is incredible. Yeah, that is really, really cool.
I got this one a couple weeks ago. This was Boba Fett.
Ah, that is awesome.
And
That is fantastic.
I got this one at MegaCon. Cara Dune from The Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You like The Mandalorian then?
Yeah, I love Grogu. And I got this from a kiosk in Orlando when my mom and my best friend were coming. We were driving home from Disney World, and I found this
That is
in a little
fun.
kiosk in the outlets in
That is
Orlando.
so cool. My
I
goodness.
also, and my mom
Give me
also got this one, Hello Kitty.
that.
I
Hello.
also loved Hello Kitty. I loved Hello Kitty a lot as a little girl.
Oh, you have to. And do you mind showing your shirt again for the
This
thing?
is
Look, I love that.
Pokemon.
That's
And
incredible.
there's another shirt underneath that's Pokemon that I want to show. Some other cool. Oh, I love Ashley Eckstein. She's the voice of Ahsoka Tano
Ahsoka Tano. What show?
in the Clone Wars.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yes. I went to, when I was younger, we went to a show called Star Wars Weekends in Orlando, Florida, where they would bring Star Wars celebrities from all the different movies and shows. And I think I got to meet her several times, and she's the loveliest. She's got the best like interactions with fans, and she's just so giving and so kind to everybody. So she's like Ahsoka is like a character that I take a lot of inspiration from, you know. So
That's really
I'm
cool.
just so honored to know her.
What do you like about let's move on to Star Wars. That's fine. What do you like about Star Wars? Why do you enjoy it so much?
I love that it's like talks about the battle between good versus evil, but also it talks about the family bond, like how the story about how Luke Skywalker, who was like the young kid growing up, and then joining joining the pushing back against the Empire and discovering the ways of the Force through the character of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and learning how to train with the Force, becoming a Jedi and not turning to the dark side the way how Darth Vader did. And then him having to go through that journey about when discovering that, spoiler alert, Darth Vader is his father, and then he has to learn how to stand up for himself, his friends, and also to take on the Emperor.
Right.
And what I loved about the scene from Return of the Jedi, when he's about to take down Darth Vader once and for all, he has so much like compassion and love for his father that he didn't know, and he just throws down his lightsaber and says, "I will never kill my father." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is so."
It's so
That's
special,
what
and
I love about it.
I can hear in your voice the passion. You've got such passion for what you talk about, and that's real special. You know, I can hear you love it, and even when you spoke about Pokemon, I can hear the love in your voice. So that's really cool. And Castle, what was that movie you watched? Castle on.
Castle in the Sky.
I
It's
I seen it once a little bit. The Studio Ghibli, you said
Studio Ghibli.
Ghibli.
Yes. Yes, it's the same company that did the movies Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, Howl's Moving Castle, which another cool fun fact is that Ahsoka's markings were actually she was based kind of like on the character of San from Princess Mononoke. I actually read about this because the creator of the character, Dave Filoni, who is also the showrunner for The Mandalorian, he took a lot of inspiration uh, from I think from the character design of San, which is the
Mm.
wolf girl from
Hmm.
Princess Mononoke, to like design Ahsoka, I believe. So I think that's kind of a really cool anime reference in Star
Heck
Wars too,
yeah. That's incredible.
because
How do you know so much? You just love it and you immerse yourself in all this information. Is that how you've got such a good knowledge of it all?
I've seen like interviews over the years with like some of the creatives, people who worked behind the scenes, watching all the documentaries of Star Wars. I remember when I was young, there was this documentary on the History Channel that talked about the inspirations for George,
Mm.
and what were real life inspirations or mythological inspirations that led to some of the creations of several of his characters and storylines in the Star Wars universe.
That's so cool. That is so cool. No, it's great. And like I said before, you can hear the passion in your voice. You get, it's great it comes across how much you love Pokemon and Star Wars in general. Now, any of the new age anime or not newer age, but do you watch any other anime?
I've seen a few episodes. I've seen like a few clips of Digimon. I remember when I was little.
Yeah.
And but then learning, because the thing is also at one point I was so interested in the craft of voice acting. I remember when I was getting older in high school and I came across this other documentary called I think it was called Adventures in Voice Acting, where they interviewed so many like well-known anime voice actors, like I think Veronica, Eric were interviewed, Mark Thompson was interviewed. I think this was before the company 4Kids lost the dubbing rights of Pokemon at the time, so they were still titled under, I think, Pokemon, I believe. They also interviewed Johnny Bosch from Power Rangers, who
Yeah.
is also from Inuyasha, and no, not Inuyasha, excuse me, Bleach. Bleach,
Yes.
excuse me.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
from Bleach. Akira. I think I also saw Akira in high school too. I saw it in the original Japanese language. I found the movie on YouTube and I saw that. I was like, whoa, this is really crazy. This is a crazy film.
It's intense. I haven't actually seen it, which is bad of me, but it is quite intense. I've seen some clips of it all.
Yeah, and you've interviewed Joshua Seth,
I
who's the
know.
voice of Tetsuo.
Yeah, I know. And he's such a lovely, lovely guy. Do you want to get into voice acting yourself?
I at one point did, but then one point I came across there was this really cool website from this one voice actor. I don't know if you heard of him. His name is D. Bradley Baker. He's the voice of all the clones in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. He also voiced Appa and Momo in Avatar: The Last Airbender. If
Right.
do you know that show?
I do. Yes.
Yeah, and even though technically it's not an anime, I think it was influenced by anime, I believe. So that's what also kind of got me back, because when I was like 9 years old and it first aired on Nickelodeon, that's how I also got in sort of like reintroduced into the category of anime or anime influenced media. So yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, you're right. Airbender. I consider it anime. I mean, it's an incredible show. My daughters watched it. I watched it. It's really, really. I mean, it's like you said, it's not from Japan, and that's why people classify it as not anime. Is that right?
Yeah, it's Western animation.
Yes.
But it was influenced, I believe. A lot of I think a lot of the fighting styles was based on like specific types of like I think judo, taekwondo, or kung fu fighting styles. I believe from like China, Mongolia, Korea. They were all influenced by the culture.
Yeah,
That's
and I've
really
I've had
cool.
some people. Biorvio is in the live right now. He said Avatar is definitely an anime in my book. So thanks, Biorvio. It's definitely true. No, that's cool. That's cool. And your knowledge is incredible. You're making me. I don't have a tremendous amount of knowledge. I love the basic. I'm a simple man. I love Dragon Ball, Pokemon. I did watch
I
Yu-Gi-Oh
think
when I was growing up. Just the simple stuff, and then but yeah, talking to all these incredible people from around the world, like yourself, is just real. It's adding. My list is getting so long. My anime list is getting so long. I just need to have it playing constantly in the background, really. But you should, yeah, voice acting would definitely be. You've got a lovely voice. You've got a really lovely tone, and
oh,
voice
thank
acting
you.
would be a really good option. For
So, but the
you.
thing is that okay, so I went on Dee's website and he listed some great tips on how to get a voice, how to get started in voice acting. But it was such a long list. And also, one of the steps was I think we had to find an agent. And I was like, I don't know if there's an agent here. Like, how do I find a voice agent or like an acting agent here in the South Florida area? I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm gonna have to dig deeper. But
No,
at this moment, I'm very happy where I am right now. So,
true. Good. Good. Yeah. I mean, agents are good, but from what I've heard from the people I've spoken to, is the fact that sorry, my dogs are snoring down me. Um,
my dog is right here on the bed,
oh,
sleeping
cute.
too.
Yeah,
What kind of breeds are they?
I've got two French bulldog pugs, and
Oh,
two French bulldog pugs, and two Hunter greyhounds. But the French bulldog pugs, they've got that snorting, and it makes my interviews more challenging, and I've got my parrot in the background going. Sorry, Tyler Smith just asked, "Are you interviewing her for YouTube?" Yes, Tyler, YouTube and Spotify. It'll be released in the next couple of weeks, but that is yeah. What were we talking about? Dogs. Yeah, no, my dogs are my everything. What type of dog breed's your dog?
He is a King Charles Cavalier.
King Charles Cavalier. That sounds real beautiful. Have you posted on Instagram any pictures of your doggy?
Yes, I have. I have,
I
and
forgot.
I think he's the breed. He's like the British cousin of the Cocker Spaniel, I believe.
Right. Lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You know what, let me see if I can get him into the frame. Is that
okay,
okay?
cool. Yeah, that'd be lovely. Let me see.
Who wants to say hi? There he is.
Oh, he's gorgeous. My goodness. It looks like, he looks like Lady from Lady and the Tramp a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I said, he's the British cousin of her breed. That's like she's a Cocker Spaniel, so he's like the British offshoot.
Oh, gorgeous.
He's an English offshoot, and he's the best. I got him
Oh,
like
so
2 years
soft.
ago. He is. And he's like the friendliest dog ever. Every time he sees someone, he wants to just hug them and jump on them. And
Oh,
he wants to, he's like licking everybody, so it's so cute.
that
Makes me
is
happy.
so cute. Yeah, my dogs are under there for the people. No, that's incredible. Dogs can just make they really are a therapy. They just make you so
Yeah.
happy. And
Yeah, just like Pikachu makes Ash happy.
yes,
Pikachu
yeah,
just
they're real
he's
life
like
Pokemon.
yeah. You know, I was thinking, I was actually out a few years ago with my friend, and there were these two older guys, and I think they saw like I was wearing like a keychain or something of a Pikachu, and they were like a few years older than me and my friend, and they instantly knew about Pokemon. Like they just started talking about Misty and Brock and Ash, and I'm like, this is so weird in my head. To be honest, it was so weird, like just having like a talk with two guys that are like a couple years older than me, but like they're like they knew about Pokemon. And I was like, oh, my guess is they grew up from the '90s generation, I believe.
Yes, and it brings people together. People who aren't necessarily. I went to a convention recently, and the amount of people that are so different, um, they all come together for this one love, and it's very special. What are your thoughts on the Ash versus Leon final fight? Ash being the world champion. Spoiler. What are your thoughts on all of that?
I'm happy because like he achieved world champion, but he realized that him being a Pokemon master isn't just winning. It's about learning of all the different Pokemon in the world and trying to really connect with them. So that was the true meaning of him being a Pokemon master.
So true. So true. Really, really good, and really good for children growing up now as well. Good, solid moral advice based on things that can help people rather than, a lot of entertainment out there can be um, influence children quite negatively, influence people quite negatively. But something like Pokemon, it's always been quite wholesome and beautiful, and I think it brings people up right.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I remember just Ash, just a little kid, just Ash being making new friends, helping those who really need help. I remember watching a convention online when the voice actors were at a panel. I believe it was SAC Anime, and Rachel noted how they loved those episodes where they would have like the episode of the day, not like when Ash like had a gym battle or he battled like in a competition, but I really found those episodes fascinating where they would go to different towns and they would meet different people and they would see like the Pokemon of the day. I always loved that, and that they would help them out when they had a problem. And then always Team Rocket comes in and he tries to follow their plan, catch Pikachu, give it to the boss, and then they all work together to, take them to defeat them, and Pikachu sends them blasting off again. I always loved those episodes.
Yeah, it's great. You know what's coming as well with, with Team Rocket being blasted off, but it never gets old. It never gets old for me, seeing them blast off again. And they always make it different and funny and no, very, very, very special. Um, Now for the fans who want to watch your voice acting journey, because I can see with your voice, and I know you don't post an incredible amount of content, voice acting content, but that'd be a good thing in the
No.
future. Where can people find you?
I'm just on Instagram. I mean, I actually was more like I'm more of like into singing because I loved. It was actually I wanted to mention very quickly
Yeah,
why
please.
Pokemon influenced me. Well, kind of helped me. So when I was getting back into Pokemon, another one of the things that we would do a lot when I was young was that we would go to Blockbuster and we rent movies from, and I would rent like I rented I think Jirachi Wishmaker, Mewtwo Returns. And when I was slowly getting back into like the anime, I remember going online one time and coming across the Wikipedia page of Mewtwo, and it talked about like his different appearances. And I came across this one page where it said he appeared in a stage production. You know where I'm going with this?
Yes. Keep
A
going.
stage production called Pokemon Live. I don't know if anyone in your live watching right now has heard of it. But yeah, that's how I sort of because when I was little, I also was very scared of live shows. I'll be open about this. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I had a lot of challenges as a young girl, like speaking, communicating my emotions properly. But I always liked singing. I found it very interesting, and as I got older, um, I think my introduction or learning about Pokemon Live sort of helped me overcome that fear. And I was like, oh, music, oh, this is not scary. Because I remember being a lot scared when I would see like shows like Disney on Ice, or when I would go see like a live character at Disney World. So it was very interesting getting
Wow.
to
Yeah, no,
learn about.
that's a really good point actually. Learning about I mean, like I've seen your videos and they look incredible. It looks like such cool. I did some musical theater as well growing up and fell in love with it back then. Have you ever thought of doing um, d- being involved and being a cast member of something like that?
I once auditioned my last year of high school for a performing arts school. The environment just was not what I wanted to be. I think I was doing some thinking recently. It's fun to watch it, but I don't think I would want to do that as a living
Yeah.
because it's so intense. You would have to do 8 shows a week from what I've seen because I love Broadway
Yeah.
and I've seen a couple of touring shows already, and it's a lot of work from what I've seen. A lot of like singers and voice actors have, I think, done stage work before, from what
Mm.
I've heard. A couple of them. I think Darren Dunstan, who plays Pegasus on Yu-Gi-Oh, that's actually how he got the role. Was he was cast as Giovanni in Pokemon Live, and working with 4Kids. The producer, like when they just acquired the rights to Yu-Gi-Oh, they asked him to, I believe, audition. Because this is based on some interviews I've heard from him. They asked him to audition for Yu-Gi-Oh and to audition for the role of Pegasus, and that's apparently how he got the role. Was through that connection he had with Pokemon Live and sort of like his experience with theater.
That's
I think
amazing.
got him that role.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
amazing. No, and you're right because I've spoken to a few people. I can't remember off the top of my head what their names are, but a few people who had a similar way of getting into it. And I think Stephanie Nadolny was one of them. There's a few of them that just have had a theatre background because voice acting, like everyone says, voice acting is acting at the end of the
Mhm.
day. And if you're not a good actor or actor, then you won't be a good voice actor.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
no, that's
And
brilliant. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
yeah. So, when I was getting a little bit older, I was like, I want to go see more shows. And then I think when I was 12 years old, my dad at the time found the sound. My dad found the soundtrack, the cast album from Pokemon Live and download. It was available at the time on Amazon Music. Now it's like not available anymore. But he downloaded onto my iPod, and I like listened to that cast album nonstop until like high school. And then the funny thing is that when I was watching Pokemon Heroes, towards the end, the end credits, several of the songs popped up during the end credits, and I hadn't heard that soundtrack in a while. And all of a sudden, I remember just listening to it and just starting to tear up. I was like, "Oh my gosh, oh wow!" So yeah, it was really really cool that Pokemon and Pokemon Live sort of got me back into anime and made me want to get involved in theater. And I noticed something because when I was doing the theater, I noticed that I started to talk more and socialize with people, because something I really couldn't do when I was young. And I think getting involved in the theater helped me like overcome that fear, helped me socialize better, and helped me like sort of grow more of my self-esteem. So that was so great. And that's why I'm so grateful to that. And another really funny story was that I actually, 2 years ago, my mom and I went to a Christmas concert in Naples, Florida.
Yeah.
And we saw five of these men who have performed on Broadway, and they were singing with, I believe, the Naples Philharmonic. And I didn't tell my mom this, and I was a little nervous at the time. I was like, I don't know if I should bring this up. Should I mention this to him? But one of the guys in the group played Ash in Pokemon Live. And I sort of like kind of told him about how much listening to the soundtrack and learning about the show kind of helped me as a kid, and how he was a big part of my childhood. So that was a really cool experience.
That is so
So
cool. And it's cool to meet your, especially that you loved his music and his acting so much and you got to meet him. That's an incredible experience. And have you ever, I mean, is this your first time on a podcast or have you ever done something like this before?
I don't know if you would say calling into a radio show would be a podcast. I mean, technically, I've called into this other podcast about Star Wars. It's really awesome. It's called Rebel Force Radio, the number one source for the Force. They're really awesome. They've been doing the podcast since 2008, I believe. They're originally called forcecast.net, but then rebranded a few years ago as Rebel Force Radio. But they talk all things Star Wars, about, legends, about the expanded universe, about the movies, about the TV shows, the lore, and about they have like fan meetups. I've called into their show over the last, I think, 3 years, since like the middle of the pandemic. So they've been like keeping my Star Wars fandom together. So yeah, that's sort of been my experience with the podcast. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, that definitely does count. And no, that's amazing. That's amazing. Your stories are incredible, and just hearing how anime has so positively affected your life, and it's so special, and it's also so relatable. So no,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing and being so, and thank you so much for making the time to come on the show. You've brightened my day and made me smile, and the fans are definitely going to relate and
Yeah.
enjoy your wonderful voice. Please, I'd like to see you in an anime moving forward. So keep working on that voice acting, and let's
I don't
get you
know
as
if
a
I'll be able to
protagonist in
do
an
that.
anime. That'll be a goal that we can tick off together. But no, thank you so much for coming on the show. The podcast will be released in the next couple of weeks, but I'll post a couple of teasers today, and you're welcome to share them around.
Cool.
But no,
Can
thank
I
you.
share one last can
Yes,
I share one
please,
last thing
please,
before we go?
please
Really
do.
cool. So it's really cool. So I've actually in the last couple years I found some really cool memorabilia from Pokemon Live. Do you mind if I share them
Yes,
before
please.
we
That'd
head
be
out?
great.
So this was a card I found on eBay. This was the rare card shared and bought at the performance. This was from a
Wow.
fictional, non-canonical Pokemon called Mecha Mewtwo, which, fun fact, the show was supposed to be a non-canonical sequel to the first movie. Because this was right after Mewtwo broke out of the lab and escaped, and Giovanni was so angry that he lost his own Pokemon that he made his own Mewtwo creature.
That's incredible. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, this is very once a while ago.
Wow. That's
Found
so
this on
cool. I love
And
that.
this um, other memorabilia that I have, it's a very rare keychain I brought on eBay as well. I showed this to the actor I met in Naples. I believe Dominic was his name. Dominic Nolfi, I believe was his name. I showed him this.
Oh, wow. That's
his
incredible.
reaction, his reaction was super cute. He was like, "I've never seen this before."
Yeah,
And
where did
he
you
was,
must have found it just in a shop.
no, I found this on eBay. This was, I think, the
Ah,
last available keychain that they sold or that they had.
that is so cool. I love it. That needs to be on display. With the amount of cool stuff you have, you need a cool display cabinet or something like that. Um, but no,
And the
no, that,
last thing,
yes, please
last
show me.
one, this is the
Ah,
t-shirt they
there we
sold.
go. It's a Pokemon Live one too.
Yeah, I found this on Instagram, and this was found in a thrift store in Detroit, Michigan. And the guy
Wow.
sold it to me. There's actually a documentary about Pokemon Live, about the show. They interviewed two actors, and it's really interesting how they put the show together
Where
and
can
how
that be
they
found?
it's on YouTube. It's
Okay.
from these two YouTubers that spent the last, I think, 2 years researching all stuff about Pokemon Live, and it was really, really, really informative. It's really cool. It's been had a resurgence lately. So
Yeah, we need, like I said to you, if that comes to New Zealand ever, I'm going to be there in the front row. It looks like it's such a cool experience.
yeah. And I was like thinking if they can put SpongeBob and Shrek on Broadway, they should put Pokemon back on Broadway.
It needs to be. You're completely right. It's a better story. No, love talking to you. Thank you so, so much. Have a great evening, and
Aw.
I'll post you and stuff very soon, okay?
Alrighty. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure finally talking to you, and hopefully we can chat more in the near future.
Let's please do, because like I said, I find you very energizing and very passionate, and makes me passionate and energized as well. All right.
Alrighty.
Talk soon.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.